If I asked you why your latest project failed, or why your team is struggling to collaborate effectively, your answer would likely point to something visible and immediate. You might name a specific person whose decision caused the setback. You might recall a disastrous meeting where everything went wrong. Or perhaps you would blame a sudden, unexpected event, a budget cut, a competitor's move, a technical glitch. This is the normal human response. We are conditioned to look at the world in terms of discrete, observable occurrences. We point to the fires we can see, the choices we can hear being made, the people standing closest to the problem. We then try to fix the next meeting, discipline the individual, or prevent that one specific event from happening again. This focus on the immediate and the obvious is a trap, a seduction of the scene. It keeps us perpetually busy, reacting to one crisis after another, yet it rarely solves the underlying problem. These forces do not announce themselves with loud declarations or dramatic flair. They do not shout for our attention. Instead, they repeat. They establish rhythms and create the recurring narratives that define our experience. The rules that truly shape behavior are subtle, consistent, and deeply embedded within the system itself. When you only pay attention to the single, crashing wave of an event, the vast ocean of the system remains a mystery. The world feels chaotic, unpredictable, and fundamentally uncontrollable. You find yourself constantly surprised by outcomes that, in retrospect, seem strangely inevitable. This reactive stance drains energy, fosters a sense of helplessness, and prevents any real learning from taking place. You are always playing defense, always putting out fires, but you never get the chance to understand what is causing the fires to break out in the first place. To make this process of seeing systems more concrete, it is helpful to think in terms of three distinct layers of reality. Each layer offers a different level of understanding. Imagine these as layers of an archaeological dig: the surface soil, the buried artifacts, the foundational bedrock. Without digging, you will never understand the civilization that lived there. The same is true for the systems that govern our lives and our work. Layer 1 is the level of events. This is the surface, the realm of the daily news, the overflowing inbox. Here we find the meetings, the emails, the phone calls, the reports, the quarterly results, the immediate crises. This is what everyone sees and talks about. It is the tangible, fast-moving world of action and reaction. An event tells you what just happened. It gives almost no insight into why or whether it will happen again. It is a single frame in a much longer movie. Layer 2 is the level of patterns. Step back and observe the flow of events over time. Patterns are the recurring trends, the cycles, the consistent themes. Does the same conflict flare up between two departments during budgets? Do top employees leave after about 2 years? Do certain projects always run late and over budget? Identifying a pattern is like connecting the dots. It transforms isolated incidents into a coherent narrative. Mapping patterns lets you anticipate. This tends to happen whenever these conditions are present. Layer 3 is the level of structure. This is the deepest, most powerful layer. Structure is the system, the collection of rules, roles, relationships, policies, incentives, beliefs. Structure generates the behavior we see. Let's apply this three-layered thinking to a common and frustrating organizational problem. Imagine a company that publicly declares its commitment to innovation. The CEO gives inspiring speeches. The walls are decorated with posters that say, "Think outside the box." In meetings, leaders enthusiastically call for creativity and risk-taking from their teams. Everyone nods in agreement. Despite the speeches and posters, a junior employee who proposes a genuinely disruptive idea finds it quietly shelved. A manager who takes a risk on an unproven project is reprimanded when it doesn't produce immediate results. A team that spends time exploring a novel approach is criticized for not hitting its short-term productivity targets. After observing this for a few months, a clear pattern emerges. New ideas are publicly encouraged but privately punished. The recurring behavior is one of risk aversion and adherence to the status quo. Upon closer inspection, we might find that the company's promotion system heavily rewards employees who consistently meet predictable short-term targets. The annual budgeting process allocates funds almost exclusively to projects with guaranteed, well-understood returns on investment. The performance review system has no metrics for creativity or experimentation. The structure says, do not fail. Only do what has been proven to work. In this scenario, the system is not broken. It is perfectly designed to produce exactly the results it is getting. The crucial insight that arises from this layered perspective is a reorientation of our efforts. It reveals the fundamental futility of trying to fix problems at the level of events. If a project is late, we might fire the project manager. If a meeting is unproductive, we might create a new agenda format. If a customer complains, we address that one specific complaint. These actions might solve the immediate, visible problem, but they do nothing to prevent the same type of problem from happening again next week or next month. Systems resist change because their internal structure is designed to maintain equilibrium. The structure acts like a powerful gyroscope, constantly working to return the system to its established patterns. Any attempt to change a single event or an individual's action without addressing the underlying structure is like trying to bend a steel bar with your bare hands. You might exert a tremendous amount of force and feel like you are making progress, but as soon as you let go, the bar snaps right back to its original shape. The structure always wins in the long run. Think of the manager who is constantly intervening. Every time a fight breaks out, the manager steps in. This is fixing the event. But if the fights keep happening, it is a sign that something in the team's structure, perhaps unclear roles, perhaps competing incentives, or a culture that rewards internal rivalry, is generating the conflict. The manager's constant intervention allows the underlying structural issue to persist. The perceptual shift is to stop seeing your role as a hero who fixes crises. Instead, see yourself as a designer who works on the system itself, moving focus from surface activity to quiet, powerful levers in the structure. As we dig deeper into the structure of a system, we encounter an even more subtle and powerful force: the underlying value systems that give the structure its meaning and legitimacy. A value system is a shared, often unspoken set of beliefs about what is good, what is true, what is important. Frameworks like spiral dynamics provide a language for naming and understanding these different value systems. For example, one system might prioritize safety, order, loyalty. Another might prize individual achievement, strategic advantage, winning. A third might value community, consensus, human connection. These value systems function like invisible currents, shaping what people pay attention to and how they interpret the world. If you try to introduce a change that clashes with the dominant value system, the system will reject it like a foreign body. A leadership team operating from a green or yellow system might try self-managing teams in a division run on blue or orange hierarchy and control. They roll out training programs and new communication tools. For a short while, people go through the motions. But soon, old patterns reassert. Middle managers subtly undermine autonomy. Employees feel anxious without clear authority. The underlying value system reasserts its dominance. Developing the ability to see systems is a skill that can be cultivated through practice. It begins with learning to pause and ask a different set of questions. First, when you notice a frustrating event, start by searching for its echo. What keeps happening over and over again? Get specific. Don't just say communication problems. Define the pattern. Example: every Tuesday, marketing says engineering didn't provide info, delaying the weekly report. Write it as an observable sequence. Map its frequency and context. Second, hunt for the structure that generates the pattern. What rules, roles, rewards, and layouts are contributing? Who benefits? Who loses? Finally, probe for the deeper beliefs. What does this system truly value and fear? Efficiency? Individual heroism? Avoiding conflict? This moves you from repair to redesign. Small structural changes. Comp plans that reward collaboration, redefining roles to remove friction, simple processes to share info, can have outsized impact. Think of steering a large ship. You don't push the bow. You adjust the rudder. A tiny structural change leverages the system's energy to change course. This is the promise of systems thinking, from reactive helplessness to creative agency. We stop being victims of the system and become its architects. Think of your most stubborn problem. See it not as a roadblock but as a clue. Follow it from the event to the pattern, and from the pattern to the deep structure. That is where the real work begins.